I'm James Cartwright. This is Absolute Football TV. I thought I'd post a video on what I think of David Moyes' appointment at Manchester United. I have to say I'm quite undecided on the whole ordeal. Is he the best manager for the job, or is he the right man, shall we say? Just evaluating the points, I think there's good points and bad points. The good points, of course, are that he has done extremely well for Everton on a limited budget. I think that's been highlighted quite a lot. He is a great man manager. He's done a lot for Everton, and he's a highly respected man in the game, and he obviously knows his stuff, and I think that's the main point of why he is a good manager. The problem points I've identified are: what are his credentials against big clubs? Looking at a record over the last few years at Everton against the big teams, and an away record, I think it was against Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal and Manchester United, I think it was 27 defeats and 18 draws and no victories, which is quite gaping, but time will only tell how he will cope against the big sides. But at Everton, they had the tendency to bottle it. They had the tendency to cave in when the big occasion arose. And I think another point to be made is that he hasn't won a trophy at Everton. He's had he's had a few opportunities. They've got to the latter rounds of the FA Cup. I think they've got to the quarterfinals most seasons recently. So that needs to be identified. And of course, in Europe, the best success he had at Everton was getting to the last 16 of the what is now the Europa League. I know Everton have never been particularly in a place to get quite far in European competition, but surely Champions League experience is monumental when Manchester United are trying to build on finishing further than they did last year. It really depends on what way you want to look at it if you want to measure this Moyes era as a success. I think the first year is going to be one of transition. I know Robbie Savage, I was watching his Savage Says, and he was saying earlier that he needs to get his trophy. I think that's agreeable, but to expect him to get the championship, retain the title, is probably a big ask, especially with Manchester City probably going to be having a better transfer market this season. It's going to be a real test for Mancini. How good of a manager is he really? I think he has to show that to the Manchester City board next season. He's going to have the availability of the best players because they're going to be very interested in joining the Manchester City trail for the title next season. Chelsea will be very strong if they have Mourinho, who of course I think should have been in contention with the Manchester United job. He's been obviously wanting it and pining for it for some considerable period of time. He can't be questioned. His managerial prowess is up there with Sir Alex Ferguson. He's probably one of the only managers in the world that could go to a club and completely change things around without much question and assert his authority on the club. I think the main problem with Mourinho is that he rocks the boat. He causes rifts. I think that's been the problem at Real Madrid this season. He's had rifts with Sergio Ramos and in particular Iker Casillas, and that's been a real problem this season. It probably cost them in the end from not winning the Champions League or progressing to the final, and then that was the reason for the early season league form, and it's really all come to a head in recent weeks, and it's probably what has put Manchester United off Mourinho. But the main problem with Mourinho is the fact that he is not a manager for longevity. He won't stay for the long haul. He'll bring instant success in his first season. His second season will probably be unprecedented success, and then the third, that'll be again possibly success. And then if you're coming into 4, 5 seasons, you're entering a period where the cracks will start to open, and that's what been the problem at his previous clubs, and that possibly would be the problem at Manchester United. Moyes is a good appointment, albeit he does have his problems, but if they're going to be looking to the long run, he is certainly a very good man for the job. I hope it does work out for him. I like David Moyes. I think he's a positive manager. I think he's a good manager, and I can see where they get the parallels with Sir Alex Ferguson, but the main point is they won't have instant success, and really this time is a test for Manchester City, and it should be interesting to see what direction they go in relation to this change. Do they take back some of the power, or do Manchester United push on as a force and maybe overtake Manchester City even further? I'd like to hear what you think on the whole issue of Moyes coming to Manchester United. Is he the right man, or should they went a different direction? Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be raised as a potential candidate, or should have been a potential candidate in the running. So, like the video, post your comments underneath, and make sure you subscribe to Absolute Football TV. I'm James Cartwright. You can follow me on Twitter at @footy_views, and you can give me all your opinions on this video, and I will be sure to tweet back. Thank you for watching.